Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to be breaking down, as simply put, how you can take your own info project past 50K a month. Now, something that I see inside of this space more and more every single day is people telling you that they can teach you how to do that when all they've ever done was try to teach other people how to do that, and they've never done it themselves. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, I scaled my first info project to 44,000 plus in revenue in my first month ever. Now, the biggest thing about that, I did it starting on a brand new Instagram account from scratch with zero. The reason is you do not need followers to make dollars. You need a proven strategy that turns posts into profit. Obviously, content is going to be your way to market your business online, and I'm someone that spent the last 2.5 years specializing in scaling online businesses. I've been to 11 different countries that gave me 5 different keynote speaking engagements with north of 8,000 people in attendance on occasion. I don't say that to be arrogant. I say it because in this video, I'm going to be hopefully providing you with enough value to help you shortcut the process, avoid a lot of trials and tribulations I faced early on, and I am someone that has now helped a multitude of other people start and scale info projects even past 20K plus per week in their first 90 days on an offer. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm going to be walking you through a case study of someone that I've done this with from scratch. So stick with me. Now, when you're looking at this, your current flow may be in one of these first 5 stages. You have followers, but the content doesn't really stick. You may have some leads, but the quality is inconsistent day to day. When leads do come in, there's no lead management framework. So you have no systems to capitalize on key metrics like speed to lead, for example, and at the same time, you're managing your entire thing yourself. So there's a lack of structure then in appointment setting, so you're missing on a ton of opportunity. And even if you do have opportunity, your sales process, your payment options, altogether lead to a subpar closing rate. So the result, if you are in one of these stages in terms of scaling your own info project, is likely that your content is busy, it's not productive, and you're overworked managing your entire sales process, yet you're still trying to attempt to break 50K plus per month with no scalability framework. So let's keep this thing moving. The end goal when you're scaling an info project, or any goal in business, as the way I see it, is to think less yet produce more, is to work less and make more, and is to be able to focus on your clientele. There's an equation that I was given by a mentor that's a Forbes 30 million under 30 recipient. That was one of the first people I ever met when I got online. And he told me wealth is nothing more than the amount of time and energy required to make X amount of money. Now, I think a lot of us get it wrong, and we're willing to assume a lot of work, but we're not wealthy, we're just chasing money. And I would rather have wealth than be rich. Being rich is having things. And so what I want to do is help you buy back your time and buy back your energy so you can choose to live life as you wish. I think a lot of people in the info space acquire too much workload for themselves to be able to handle, yet still think 50, 100 plus $1,000 any given month is feasible, when in reality, it's extremely difficult to do if you don't have a massive brand, a massive following, and you haven't been coaching for years and years and years. So that being said, let's get into a case study of someone that I've literally helped since day one when she had no info project created whatsoever. She had been doing high ticket closing. She had had quite a bit of authority in the space and did pretty well for herself. But as you can see here, even now, about 2-3 months into helping her, she still only has about 3,000 followers. But the thing is most people get this wrong, and you think by having more followers, that's necessarily better, when it's not. Something I want to make very clear is the algorithm is going to push out content to people that resonate with your message most, but it's also going to push out content to people that are following you. So if you have an immense amount of followers, whether they're fake or not, and even hundreds and thousands of them, that might be great, but your audience is likely going to be a lot more distributed across people that may not be your ideal client. And so if you do have less followers, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I don't know what just happened with the light, but we're going to keep this thing rolling. And so if you guys are looking here, when I met Sam, we put together her info project from scratch. And so when she built out her community, one of the first things that I teach is blitz scaling, meaning ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. If you're inside of the info space, a lot of us try to get systems and infrastructure put into place before we have clientele, when that's not usually how you're going to get the right amount of value to your clients, nor the enough feedback to be able to improve. So once you do blitz scaling correctly and you actually just fire the gun, you can start to see results extremely quickly. And so when we did this, and I gave her a content strategy, very simple, that she could follow, she was able to generate $3,000 in her first 24 hours of scaling her info offer. And so since then, now, lead flow starts to ramp up because content becomes consistent. So, more and more clients come through the door. This is when, over the course of time, you are going to need help, because if you understand the game and someone's looking for value, whether you're fitness coaching, you're sales coaching, you're teaching people how to start their own dog walking business, it doesn't matter. We're scaling info projects all over the world doing a multitude of different things. It applies the same across all of these different industries and avenues. You cannot bite off more than you can chew and manage the entire thing from A to Z. It's not possible. And so I have learned from so much of my direct sales experience when I scaled a team to 1,200 people that if you have a team, things are a lot easier, right? If you leverage other people to make more money, that is how you're going to buy back your time and your energy. That is the goal in business. Most people do not have a team. So when we implemented the team structure inside of Sam's offer, now she's not missing out on opportunity. Because if you're posting all the content, you're managing your entire sales process, you're running all your closing calls, you're doing all the onboarding, and you're working with all your clientele, how much time do you really have to be sitting there responding to DMs, interacting with people in your content, and closing on opportunity when it's there? So if someone's commenting, if someone's DMing you, if someone wants to be in contact with you, you're not the only one they're looking for help from, most likely. So speed to lead is extremely important. And so I think it's Alex Ramosi that says 80% of sales are lost because of simply speed to lead ratio. So this is where if you have the right systems, the right integrations, the right automations, you are going to be able to capitalize on this. And if you have the right team, you can leverage other people to manage your sales process. So when we implemented 24/7 communication by leveraging sales reps inside of Sam's DMs, for example, she was able to sit back, focus on content, which is the highest income producing activity inside of your business if you're scaling info, and what you should be focused on, and simply get on her calls. Some of us want to run our own closing calls, some don't. For her, it makes a lot of sense because that is what it is she's going to be teaching to people. So it's way easier for her to have solid communication on these calls. But here we go. We're still in her first few weeks of scaling her offer. Now we're well past 10K in the first matter of a couple weeks from scratch. Now, this is where, when you have the right sales process in place, you are going to have a lot of opportunity to close. And if you know how to close and you have the right sales process, it can 5 times your opportunity over the course of days. And that may sound crazy until it works. So here we are, still in the first 60 to 90 days of scaling her info offer from scratch, and she's closing 5 clients in a week. Now, the whole point in scaling an offer is to have a high ticket digital program. And so that being said, I think a lot of people have this structure wrong, and you think that you can't provide enough value to people when in reality, it's all a psychological game. And so this is something that we work on very early on. I believe Sam was charging $3K for her offer even at this point in time. So that's 15 grand in the matter of weeks. Most people are not doing that. And as you continue to follow the process here, we're implementing all of these different things like automations, like sales reps, other people, to where now 50K per month becomes inevitable. Why? Because you're focusing on content, you're focusing on quality, booked calls with people who truly want to be involved with working alongside you, and you're building testimonials. That's it. You're not managing the entire sales process. You're not sitting there trying to talk to everybody all damn day. This is something that I feel like a lot of people get wrong. But as you can see in the screenshot here, she did over $20,000 in a week to start the month of February, still within her first 90 days on an offer. I don't think I see too many other people doing this. And the reality is, most people are having way more following than she had when she first started, yet still doing less than half of what she's doing in revenue in a month that she's doing in a week. So what is the result when you have everything in place? When you have the right sales process, when you have the right growth operator and back-end framework, and the right content strategy to go along with your offer structure. You work with your clientele, you build testimonials, and your team handles the rest. So that being said, after you've watched this entire video, my goal is to break down a very simple framework that you may or may not see inside of your offer and opportunity to improve. So if you want to see how this would work one-on-one inside of your offer right now, just DM me the word yes or send me a thumbs up and I'll show you how. My Instagram handle is @NoahOrtizOfficial, and I would love to help you out.